Hey everybody, Ash and Saib here for the Triple S League with another guide to the special stats for Fallout 76. This time we're looking at Perception, and we are using the Nukes and Dragons Your Special Character Build Planner as per usual. This is a great tool you can use to help plan your build, and we're going to be looking at the basics of what Perception is all about, plus we're going to be looking at the specific perk cards as well. So Perception in-game affects how well you're able to detect enemies and find things.
You're going to be putting points into this if you are a rifle person. So if you're using sniper rifles, if you're using regular rifles, if you're using assault rifles, automatic rifles, this is going to be your main tree. This is going to be your main tree if you're relying on a lot on VATS. Between this and agility, you're going to probably put these both to 15. And that's so that you can pump out as many VAT hits as you can. Getting those critical VAT sniper shots is going to be huge. Your VAT's accuracy is going to depend mostly on perception. So if you are a rifleman or a sniper, then you're going to need this to be as high as you can get it, and then increase it even past that with various items and buffs. That's the only way you're going to be able to hit those 95% on those targets that are 30, 40, 50 yards away. This is going to be hugely important for that. There's a little bit of damage resistance in here, and a little bit of like some random stuff in here, as well as your lockpicking.
Perception also gives you some perks that affect how well you gather resources, but we'll just go through the perks here, and you can get an idea of what this skill tree is all about. So concentrated fire, which Saib mentioned just a minute ago, if you slot this one in, it lets you target limbs in VATS. It also adds the ability to focus fire to gain accuracy and damage per shot. And basically what that means is when you take repeated shots in VATS, you'll see the accuracy meter or your chance to hit percentage going up with each shot. So if you rank this up to 3, then that's going to be really high. Butcher's Bounty, you get a 40% chance to find extra meat when you search an animal corpse. You can rank that up to 80%. So if you're like really playing as a hunter-gatherer type, then you're going to want these cards. This Butcher's Bounty and Green Thumb, you reaches twice as much when harvesting flora. So if you're doing a lot of that, Green Thumb will help you out there. And as Saib mentioned, Perception contains the lockpicking skill tree. So we've got Picklock. Now there are 3 Picklock cards. There is regular Picklock, then there's Master Picklock, and Expert Picklock. Expert Picklock unlocks at level 19, and Master Picklock locks at level 40. So basically, there are some locks that are level 0, and you don't need any of these cards to unlock them. But as soon as you get to level 1 locks, you need to have 1 Picklock card slotted in order to pick those locks, and then it goes all the way up to level 3. So if you want to be picking level 3 locks, you need all 3 of these cards slotted in. They each give you +1 to your lockpicking skill, but as Saib said, you don't need to have them in all the time. When you come across that lock, you can slot them in as you need them. Okay, next we've got Crack Shot, which gives your pistols more range and better accuracy, down the sights. So if you're doing a pistol build, you want that. There's a similar one here, Skeet Shooter, for shotguns, giving them improved accuracy and spread. So if you're doing a shotgun build, you might want to slot a few points into Perception here and grab this card.
Yeah, this is where having at least 3 points in it really helps. If you are going like shotgunner, or if you're going kind of like a pistol build, and you're going close range, you don't really need very many points in Perception. Having at least 3 does let you swap in like Skeet Shooter for shotgunner pretty easily, while balancing that in and out for the picklocks whenever you're coming up against a stronghold.
Right. All right, at level 8 you get Rifleman, and this is a damage boost to your non-automatic rifles. So if you're doing a sniper build, you'll definitely want to grab this one. This is a triple stacking card. There is Expert Rifleman and Master Rifleman, and all 3 of those cards are basically identical. So they're what we call a triple stacking card. You can stack them all together to get potentially a 60% boost to your rifle damage. Of course, the other ones unlock at much higher levels. Expert unlocks at level 20, and Master unlocks at level 42. But by the time you get to level 42, you know, you can stack all these three together and get a 60% boost to your non-automatic rifles if you want.
You can also do this for Commando, which is going to affect your automatic rifles.
Yep.
And you don't have to stack these to 3. You can get all 3 cards and then keep them at 1 point, which will give you a 30% increase at a cost of 3 points instead of a 60% increase at a cost of 9 points. So you can save 6 points, put them into something else, and you'll save yourself a lot of points to be able to put into other stuff.
So we've got Panopictographist here, which lets you hear directional audio when in range of a magazine, so that'll help you find magazines. There's another one, Perceptibobble here, is the same thing for bobbleheads. So if you really want to find those bobbleheads in magazines, which give you temporary buffs, you can use these cards. I'm not really interested in temporary buffs, so I don't really use these, but...
they were kind of handy. I found a strength bobblehead, which increased the bonus to strength by 2, and that was pretty handy. But again, it's only going to last about an hour, so which is not very long in comparison to like what you're doing and content you're doing.
So if you're gearing up for a big fight or something, maybe you want to find a few of these and buff yourself up really well. But anyway, they're there if you want to use them. Exterminator, your attacks ignore 25, 50, or 75% of the armor of any insect. That's a very specific one. I'm not sure how useful that will be. Ground Pounder, if you're doing an automatic rifle build, you're going to want to grab this one. It lets you reload faster and gives you better hip-fire accuracy.
Yeah, so this is like not aiming, this is just firing off like crazy. This is a really, really good perk for building an automatic rifle build. So definitely a real strong pick.
If you're in need of caps, you'll want to grab Fortune Finder. It lets you hear directional audio in range of a caps stash.
They are kind of easy to miss, but sometimes they do give you a lot of caps. So this is definitely one would be on my consider list. If I had an extra point or two to spare in perception, this might be a really good one because caps are really important. And if there's no real easy way to make caps, then this is definitely helpful when you're out in the world looking for them.
All right, Night Person gives you a boost to intelligence and perception between the hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. So if you are running around at night, you might want to slot this one in, get yourself a boost that way. And then there is another one somewhere that gives you a boost during the day. I think that might be under a different stat. Awareness, if you're doing a VATS build, Awareness is one that gives you target specific damage resistances in VATS. Now, this may or may not be helpful. After a while, you might know just intuitively which weapons to use against certain enemies, but this one could be useful. Doesn't unlock till level 27 though. Now, if you're doing a sniper build, obviously you'll want the sniper card. You gain improved control and can hold your breath longer while aiming with your scopes. And Tank Killer might be another one to pair up with that. Your rifles ignore 12% of armor and have a 3% chance to stagger. You double that if you rank this up to rank 2, and it's tripled if you rank it up to rank 3. So, ignoring...
This is a really strong card. This just came out. This 9% chance to stagger a target, if this is per shot, which I think it strongly leans towards, if you're using an automatic rifle weapon, this is absolutely huge. This is definitely going to stagger heavy enemies constantly. So this is there might be an internal cooldown, so you might be able to only stagger a target once every 5 seconds, but still being able to do that constantly is really, really helpful. So this is a really, really good ability. This is a must-have card if you're going into rifles.
Mm-hmm. Refractor gives you basic energy resistance up to plus 40 if you rank this up to level 4. Glow Sight gives you damage boost to glowing enemies, so if you're trying to get some sleep at night and those fireflies and glowing ghouls just won't leave you alone, won't let you get sleep, you can deal with them easily with this card here.
when we find a glowing Mirelurk Queen or like a glowing Deathclaw or something like that, this is going to be huge. So
Yeah.
definitely a good end game card potentially to have. But if you're not going perception, then you may not have room for it.
And not necessarily one you'd want to slot in all the time, but as you need it, you might want to swap this in to take on specific enemies. Another good one for explosives, Grenadier. Your explosives detonate with a larger radius. You can double the radius if you rank this up to rank 2.
Mines, this is really good because as it is, if you're walking over a mine, if you're running over it, you can like avoid the damage. However, if you double the size of it, even if an enemy player is running over your mine at full speed, there's a good chance that they're not going to get out of range of it by the time it goes off. And if you have more than one of them and that stagger effect happens, then you're really, really going to screw over somebody.
Right. Long shot, another good one if you're doing a sniper build, increases your range and accuracy of your rifles. Fire in the hole, another good one for if you're doing explosives, and even just in general, when you're using thrown weapons like grenades, Molotov cocktails, etc. This lets you see an arc to help you aim where you're throwing, and it also gives you increased range on how far you can throw them. And the rest of these are just master levels of cards we've already talked about, except for Penetrator here. Now, it's not confirmed what level we get this one unlocked at, but this just straight up costs 3 points, but it removes the accuracy penalty versus enemy body parts that are blocked by cover. So if you're doing a sniper build and you're shooting at things that are like the Scorched that like to hide behind things, and you want to target the head or
in
the leg.
PvP. Or
PvP, yep.
The other thing that I've heard that this could affect is when somebody's like line of sighting you by being either too close to you or trying to run around you, but then you fire and nothing happens. This apparently can fix that.
All right, so that's a general overview of the perception perk cards and perception points in general. So hope you're finding these videos helpful. Give us a like if you do, and don't forget to sub for all of the upcoming Fallout 76 content that we've got in the works, and there's quite a bit of it. So thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you later. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, sub, and hit that notification bell, and then check out some of these other videos. Find the link to our Discord server and other important stuff in the description below.